Welcome to Dr. Mary Travelbest's 5 Steps to Solo Travel Guide for people like you who need extra support traveling one at a time. Please share this podcast. I appreciate your feedback and any travel questions you might have. I'm on the Travelbest team, and we're creating a travel workbook and also a third book in the series, Part C, about my 90 days around the world. In this episode, the FAQ is, how can I stay on my budget while wanting to see it all? Today's destination is Naples, Italy, Part 2. And today's misstep, swimming in the Naples, Italy Bay. My travel advice is get to the train station early and watch out for pickpockets. So the FAQ is, how can I stay on my budget while wanting to see it all? Carol asked this question when I told her that my budget for my 3-month trip was less than my typical expenses in my hometown. So the answer to your question, Carol, is to get most out of any budget, you've got to decide on your priorities and stick with the plan. It's not easy to keep strict guidelines on how much to spend. I had budgeted about $50 US for each night's sleeping accommodations on my trip. Some nights were double or triple that amount, but others were a lot less, so it averaged out. How did I keep from going over budget? The best way to save money is to live small while traveling. No car, no suitcase, no significant souvenirs or extravagances were in store for me. I lived in my means, and I kept track of the money spent, so that was really helpful too. And now for today's destination, Naples, Italy, Part 2. This is a Step 5 destination. On this 90-day trip around the world, I picked my destinations carefully. I was not planning to visit Naples, Italy, but I got an invitation to stay with a local person through Servas, so I decided to spend a few days there and see it through my own eyes. Naples is known as an underrated city, and some travel guidebooks suggest passing on it. But maybe they're wrong. Others believe it's worthwhile, and it's in a renaissance. So I did not have a tour guide at all in Naples. I stayed with a local, but I was on my own all the time. I took the metro everywhere. I found a great museum, the Galleria d'Italia Napoli, with free admission. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Please be patient with my version of Italian. I do speak Spanish, which is not the same, but there are some similarities. So I walked everywhere. I saw everything in the city center, including plazas and statues like Palazzo San Giacomo. I even saw a major Italian movie filmed along the coast, including a cast and hundreds of crew members. The Piazza Municipio has a gold statue of Neptune holding a pitchfork, and nearby was a 40-foot statue of a nude Venus with clothing draped all around her. It was a stunning memory to see Venus of the Rags, a commentary on sustainability. See the show notes for more on that. Pistoletto's depiction stands with a 30-foot pile of vibrantly colored and discarded clothes on the ground. Positioned with her back to the viewers, her face and body rest against the pile of fabrics that upsurges before her, so her face is ultimately veiled. This spoke to me like no other art in the city. Why was this here? I asked my Servas host, who explained that it was an attraction to make visitors think about clothing waste. It was influential to me. Piazza Garibaldi had some beautiful artwork of steel, too. I walked through Villa Comunale Park, and I ate some local Italian food at Produzione Artigliani Servizio Catering, formerly known as Pizzeria Rosticceria. During my visit to Naples, I used Google Translate a lot. My Servas host made me a delicious tuna sandwich, bread, tomatoes, and basil. Her patio overlooked the neighborhood. In the courtyard, many soccer fans had banners, and I saw kiosks devoted to the team. I also saw entrepreneurs selling purses on the sidewalk until the policeman came. The entrepreneurs picked up the products and ran away. There's an underground economy, and they all understand it here. Walking through the city center's very narrow streets, you will see a hill with a castle in the distance. I dreamt about what life was like many centuries ago. For my next visit to Naples, I'll visit Pompeii, 72 AD. I saw it from afar, but would like to go back. Another place to see next time is Matera, one of the 2 oldest cities in the world with continuous settlements. My sister Ellen stayed in a cave here in 2024. I want to see Capri and the Amalfi Coast on my next visit too. And now for today's misstep, swimming in the Naples, Italy Bay. Although the sign said no swimming, I went through the open fence and swam with the locals in the bay. It was so hot, and I saw no reason not to refresh as long as the locals did. So I stayed just long enough to cool down, and then I left. Perhaps I was illegal, so don't do what I did and swim where you shouldn't.